and welcome to Reliving My Youth. My name is Noel Fogelman. It's our 6-year anniversary, and I just want to thank everybody who has listened to at least an episode, gave me feedback, a suggestion, a review. It doesn't go unnoticed. I want to thank everybody for supporting the show. Here's to another 6 years. And today's guest is likely to get feedback as well. It's Jenette Goldstein. She portrayed one of the most kick-ass characters in all of movie history, Vasquez in Aliens. She talks about how she got the role, just the legacy of it, how she made it her own. And she's a James Cameron favorite, having appeared in Terminator 2, Titanic. She talks about that heart-breaking scene in Titanic and how she got prepared for that. She's not alone in being a James Cameron favorite. I mean, Aliens had Bill Paxton and Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen all appeared in the original Terminator. He likes to do that, and it makes his movies better, I feel. She talks about some of her other roles, Lethal Weapon 2, Star Trek Generations, some of her TV work, and now she stepped out of the entertainment industry a little bit to focus on bras. Yeah, bras. She opened up a couple of boutiques called Jenette Bras, so she talks about how she got the business started working during the pandemic. Really enjoyed my conversation with Jenette, a lovely woman, kick-ass woman, and I hope you do as well. So Jenette, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So before we kind of look at your wonderful acting career, let's talk about what you're up to now. You're a very successful businesswoman, and talk about Jenette Bras.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jenette Bras is a small chain of bra fitting boutiques. We sell fine lingerie and swimwear. And I've got 4 brick and mortar locations in Los Angeles and 2 in Atlanta, Georgia. And we specialize in personal service and items from Europe. Really nice, well-fitting bras.
Oh, that's awesome. So what made you decide to open up a bra boutique?
Yeah, I know it's kind of out of left field. I was just kind of work was slowing down. You get into your 40s and kind of playing a lot of crying mothers, on the CSI, mother of the murdered victim of the murdered.
Right.
Yes, always the never married and always a dead child. Yes. But anyway, and this idea just kind of popped into my head that there wasn't a great place for me to find a well-fitting bra. And I was in Europe and I saw what they sold there, and I couldn't believe that. Yeah, it was one of these kind of out of left field ideas. And my husband's an artist, and so we sort of designed something called retail theater. And it's great. I get to meet women all day long and talk to them and be with pretty things. And it's really interesting. It's very creative, and we've kind of grown. So 14 years ago, opened the store. Okay. So yeah,
that's awesome. So did the pandemic, did that affect the business? Did it shift to online for you or no?
No. So we don't sell online. So we're very committed to personal one-on-one. We call it, high touch, low tech. And we had just opened our 4th store in LA. And then a week later, we opened our first store in Atlanta, Georgia. And then the following week was the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was that. So it was, like everybody has their story, but this was, of course, close the stores. We don't sell online. We had 10 years of a customer base, that we called to see if they needed things, and our vendors all, worked with us, and, government and PPP and all of that. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah. We're still kind of crawling our way out of it. We were able to keep all, it was 5 stores, and then we opened a 6th one last year in Atlanta, second one. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. So then what did, as a result of that, did the supply chain issues, did that hurt you as well?
It's funny. No, it wasn't supply chain, although there was that moment. I don't know if anybody remembers, unless they were importing goods from Europe, when Trump misspoke and said he was nothing in from Europe, no goods, no.
Right. Yeah.
Phone is blowing up, Yeah, no, it was very crazy. Let me see. What did you ask? What your question was?
Oh no, just about the supply chain. Does that
Oh,
affect?
supply chain. It wasn't, we had so much stuff. We had so much inventory.
Yeah.
You just open a store, you're ready to go. The real problem was staffing, so when we
Okay.
finally opened, how to keep people safe. So we were only could have one employee and one customer at a
Okay.
time.
Right.
And, how do you do it, trying to, it was very stressful, incredibly stressful, as, the science changed, as the laws changed, as, you know, so just like day by day, just trying to roll with it. But
Yeah.
that's small business really in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like everything is sort of back to normal now. So
That's
that's
good.
good.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that it showed, like I rarely get asked the question, why don't you sell online, only online? Because now it's like, okay. It's
Yeah.
like, you want to see, it's like the worst episode of Black Mirror. You cannot go in and speak to a person, be with a person, and
Yeah.
then, oh, I get it. Because I said, I don't want to run a warehouse. That wasn't
Right.
my why I opened this
Yeah.
job. I like meeting people, talking to
Of
them,
course. Yeah.
and yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not your obviously demographic for, for your items, but I mean, trying on like, underwear for, boxers is easy. You can buy a pair and that's fine. But I imagine like you need
well, we liken it.
try on and you need
It's very
personal.
similar
Yeah.
to a suit. Like if you're going to
Right.
buy a suit for a wedding, and
Yeah.
it's a big investment,
Right.
right? And it's tailored to you and all those things. It's very similar.
Yeah.
It's a really, really difficult piece of clothing to make and fit. And so you want to go
Yeah.
to a bra fitter.
Right. Now, have you like dealt with customers and like have them try on? Are you quote unquote a bra saleswoman as well? Can you go in there, or are you just running the business?
Well, I started off as a bra fitter. I was the only,
Okay.
only woman, just me
Right.
behind the counter.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, so I was trained, and you fit by eye, you learn how bras work and how they're manufactured and fitting. It's a combination of an art and a science. And I did that. My husband built the stores, we designed them, did the marketing, did the branding, did all of that. And he still does that. And I slowly, we hired people, I cleaned the toilets, I did the books, everything.
Yeah.
Little by little, I've hired someone to work part-time for me and trained her how to fit. But right now, I don't work in the stores.
Okay.
I have managers of each store, and
Right.
then fitters, and I have, a fractional CFO, and I have operations manager and buyer, and I mean, all that you
Yeah.
slowly learn about it, and you build it, and so at the moment now, yeah, I'm the CEO, so I do the strategic development
Right.
and marketing.
Okay.
So I still hold on to the voice of the business. So we write all the copy, all the newsletters, all the Instagram, everything is
Yeah.
our voice. That's the one thing that I won't let go of.
Right. Now, if like a large company came to you about like buying you out, would you, or is this something that your passion, you strictly want to do this on your own as a small business?
No, you know what? No one has come to me yet to buy. I've learned about what it would take to sell, and
Right.
negotiation and buying and different things. At the moment, we've scaled it so much where I make my own. I don't have to be the stores run without me.
Right.
And so I enjoy I'm doing the parts that I really enjoy, which is the
Okay.
marketing.
Yeah.
It all depends for the right price, depending on who it was
Yeah.
and all
You'll
that.
listen, right?
No, I mean, I know, it's not an easy, I don't know, Victoria's Secret came, I have no idea who'd want to be. We don't have any
Yeah.
investors. I mean,
Okay.
that's one thing, no investors. It's all, family owned and
Right.
operated.
Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah, you would figure James Cameron at this point should be an investor, right?
no, I mean, he could, but the thing is, investor, you take their money, they take a part of your business and they tell you what to do. So
Right. That's true.
that's, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. So no, well, basically we sell a bra, we make money, and we put it into where it needs to go. And so
right.
it's supporting our family, so that's great.
Yeah. So are you officially, say, retired from acting?
No, I'm doing voiceovers.
Okay.
And I have an agent. I had taken a break while I was building the business, and just this past year I signed with an agency
Okay.
for on camera.
Oh, great.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. Love to
Yeah,
see you back on camera kicking ass and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did a short film just recently, so it's still in post.
Right. Oh, great. That's awesome. So, I mean, I'm gonna start probably with a film that no one started with you. So we'll start there. Fair Game.
Oh God.
I mean, no offense, the movie's terrible, but
That's
you're such a freaking badass in that movie.
it's
You know, like delivering the pizza scene where you shoot the guy. It's up there. It's one of the best murder scenes in a movie, or assassination, or whatever you want to call it. But when you made that movie, did you even realize that it was going to be what it
that
was?
bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But not that bad.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah. Wow. It was one of those movies. I mean, they call it fuck you money when you
Yeah.
this is what an old actor told me about
Okay.
jobs, certain
Right.
jobs. No, I mean, this script it was so terrible. However, it was 3 months in Miami,
Yeah.
and there was this great British actor, playwright, Stephen Burkoff, who was he played
Yeah.
the
The
main bad
villain.
guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know his plays, or he's an incredible playwright,
Okay.
and actor. And I'd seen him. I'd lived in London for a while. So I thought, oh, it'd be great. And woo. And Cindy Crawford is a really nice person, really
Yeah.
nice person. It was pretty much bad script, terrible,
Yeah.
mean director.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it was just, schlocky 80.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually gotten worse, so it's kind of good to see it. It's funny. It's a good watch.
Yeah, exactly. If you watch it and knowing what it is, it's entertaining for like the 90 minutes or whatever it is. But you had some, kick-ass scenes in there, so I just wanted to throw it out there real quick. So, like, how did you get the acting bug?
Oh, goodness. Well, my parents, I love pretending and watching TV, and my folks would take me to plays. They were big theater goers and movie buffs, and love going to see plays. And then I found out that, my God, you could do it at first I did in school. You put on plays in school,
Right.
and then high school, and then I found out that it's a real profession. You can go to school and learn about it. Yeah. I wanted to be an actress since I was little.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So at that point, you ended up moving to London, right? And you're working there for a little bit.
Well, I worked. So I grew up in Beverly Hills. So I was surrounded by actors. Some were very famous, and some were parents. You'd kind of see them shooting somebody on TV. You go to their plays, and so I kind of understood what it was about, as far as some people get famous, but they still they're at the Cub Scouts. You know what I mean? You kind of met, and you see some parents who are really amazing actors, and they just, live in a little apartment, and, you understand it's just a job like any other,
Right.
except it's different in that way. But I really wanted to go to New York. Okay. And do theater and that kind of thing. So that's what I did. So I went to New York first, after I did a little time in college, and then I went to theater school, Circle in the Square in New York for 2 years, their professional program. And then I got married to an Englishman, and I moved to England, and I did a year there at a postgraduate a training drama school there. And then I started working in London.
Okay.
So So I worked in London in theater, and then was cast there in Aliens, in the film.
Right.
And then I came back for the premiere. I hadn't been back for about 4 or 5 years, but I came back, when it opened, and there was all this buzz and everything like that. And so I got working in Hollywood and kind of going back and forth, and then ended up just staying in LA, kind of full circle.
Right. So being like in London when you shot Aliens there, and when it came
Mhm.
out, it was, such a great movie. Did you immediately get an agent when you came back? I mean, because did even people know you because you were
Yeah,
in
no, it was
London for a few years
it's
after?
funny because I didn't when I was in London, I didn't have an agent.
Okay.
I just just a job, doing fringe theater and trying to get, I hadn't even gotten to the point where I could get an agent. I had just gotten my equity card. I had an agent, they gave me an agent when I booked Aliens, but when I came back to the States, yeah, it was like, oh, I got a manager and took a lot of meetings and got an agent. Oh yeah, it certainly helps to be starring in a major motion
Yeah.
picture to get
Yeah.
an agent. It doesn't usually happen that way, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like that movie, like it had and from what I read, so many issues, I guess, the making of the movie. It took forever for it to actually come out. Was it 6 years later, or almost 10 years later, it finally came
Yep.
out with James Cameron. So talk about just like how tense was the set and your experiences on the set.
Oh no, it was so yeah, there was a long time between the first and the second, but they didn't have, it was different director, and Cameron wrote this on spec. I mean, he
Right.
wrote the movie and then he went and made Terminator in order to prove that he could make this movie.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. It was my first time in front of the camera, and I, had not been trained any, technical. I knew what, action meant and cut. That
Yeah.
was it.
Right.
That's it,
Yeah.
And so it was a really quick learning curve, and all the other guys like Bill Paxton and Michael Biehn and all of them were really, really helpful in telling me, how you look at the camera and all of this. And because it was done like an independent, low budget type of film. I mean, that's where Cameron came from.
Right.
And it was, the tenseness had to do with any movie you're making, and you got to get the shot, and you have this young director producer in England, at Pinewood, which is an established place
Right.
where you kind of inherit this crew. And so there was tension between like the Americans and the
Brits.
English as far as that. But and Jim's a pretty intense guy when things aren't going his way. But it was great. It was everybody was there to make the best movie they could. And it was an incredible script, and yeah.
Now, was when you were auditioning, was Vasquez the role, or they just like kind of you auditioned just to be in the movie and then say, okay, you're gonna play Private Vasquez?
Yeah, it was I'm not really sure exactly what they had in mind. Like I said, I didn't have an agent, but they were casting the smaller roles. And so I was up for, I mean, I didn't know until either, I guess, would have been like the pilot or the med tech.
Right.
The other women that were there weren't any other women on there except for the three of us, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Corporal
Were those
Farrago,
two.
yeah.
Right, yeah, because they had thought they had cast someone to play the role as Vasquez. They told me that I wasn't auditioning, that was not the role, even though they gave me that's her lines to read to audition. And that's when they started thinking, I guess, maybe we made it, I don't know what happened with the other
The actress.
person, but
Right. How much like time did you have before the movie to kind of get used to like, holding a gun, firing a gun, just the whole Marine?
well, we were given 2 weeks, which is very extravagant.
Yeah.
Usually you don't get that kind of thing in film, rehearsal. We had 2 weeks of rehearsal. I mean, I was already in the physical shape that I was in, because I'd been working out with a bunch of bodybuilders in England at a gym for 2 years.
Right.
Another strange story, but somehow I ended up at a bodybuilding gym, and I'd been a gymnast when I was a young girl, so I was pretty fit. But they had a whole gym set up for us and improvisation, and we dealt with the armorers with the guns and the
Right.
the technicians, well, Al was a Marine, but just to make us cohesive. So it was 2 weeks, which is very, very generous to have as a actor on a film.
Right. And I know some of the background of Vasquez. I mean, it's not in the movie, but like she was like a juvenile, like in prison or something like that, right? For murder or whatnot.
Yep, that was both her and Drake had been conscripted. They both were serving life in juvenile prison, and they were conscripted into a life term in the Colonial Marines.
Yeah, so you figure you jump at the chance, to get out of there.
Gang member from East LA.
Right. Now, I mean, if they made this movie now, you wouldn't be playing Private Vasquez. I mean,
no, they're
yeah. I mean, like watching the movie, you nail that. I mean, you wouldn't even know if you're looking at the credits that like Jenette Goldstein played Vasquez. I mean, you looked like there was no IMDb, back then or whatnot, to see it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like there wasn't any backlash to have like a white Jewish girl playing that role.
Well, it's funny. Well, when I got back to LA, I would go to auditions and I mean, most people, I'm kind of a mixed background,
Okay.
So I would go and I'd audition for different roles, and there were, Latino actors there, and they were like, "Hey, when we saw the name, we were like, and I'm like, oh, your performance was so good," It's like, at that, it's all a matter of like access, is definitely the issue, and definitely was looking for someone with the build. The build was primarily, and actually I think the woman they were looking at to cast as Vasquez wasn't an actress. She was a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And she was half Mexican. And they were working with her kind of thinking like, oh, maybe like Arnold will teach her how to act and will create,
Right.
And that was kind of the idea of like the physicality of the woman was really important as well. So
with Vasquez, she was such like an empowering female presence on there. Your first role, I think you got nominated for a Saturn Award, so it was like you were great. Did anyone, whether it was a young aspiring actress or just anyone off the streets, kind of like say, this character meant so much to me because she was so empowering and she got me through a lot of stuff. I kind of idolized her, whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the amazing thing is that over, these 30 some years, I get that all the time from women, from men, gay, straight, black, white, Latino, whatever. They'll say, they'll come up to me, and little girls will be dressed up like me, little boys will be dressed up like me. I mean, she's such a great character. I mean, I loved her, and so I always I'm fascinated when I was asked, well, what was it to you, to you, that made you, I'm always interested in people's experience of her.
Yeah, and you had such a like emotional like death scene in that one. You lasted pretty long, and you and Gorman kind of went at each other. The last thing's like, I hate you or whatever, and then you guys sacrificed yourself. So for the greater good, blowing up one of your many blow ups in on camera. So I think that was your first blow up. So
most explosive actress in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
I have blown up many times.
Yeah. And one thing about like James Cameron, he's so like loyal. So like in Terminator, he had Lance on set. Bill Paxton was like one of the punks in the beginning of the movie. So and then Michael Biehn, of course. So all three of those went to Aliens and Terminator 2. So he has so many. So was like auditioning for other roles? Was that like, did you have to audition for other James Cameron roles, or was it just given to you?
I was offered the one in Terminator 2.
Okay.
It was funny because he would catch up with me when I came back to LA, and I had done Near Dark, and he was saying, how's the auditioning going? What's going on with you? And I was like, oh, they always want to see me for these big, tough, Latino, they look at me and they go, you're not tall, you're not Latino. I said, yeah, I know, I'm an actor. It's the movies, dude.
Right.
And he's like, you're such a nice, and I had a baby by then. And he said, oh, you're a mom. Don't you ever get any mom roles? I was like, nope, never. And then he goes, well, I'll get you a mom role. So kind of a bad mom, but still. So
Right. Yeah.
And
And
let
I
me see, I'm just gonna think, Titanic, he I think he said that the granddaughter was cast already. Of course, that was Susie. I didn't know that. And then he said, is there a role in there? Is there that you'd like? And then I was reading and I was like, ooh, I like that one. The whole entire movie stops for that one.
yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, so I read for that, and then but I read for other ones that I haven't gotten. So
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
he likes to work with people he's worked with, but as long as it's right, for the film and for the story.
Okay. Oh, so you read for the Avatar movies?
Mhm.
Then? Okay.
For some
Okay.
of them.
And, like, True Lies, I'd imagine also.
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Avatar, I did.
Okay. Yeah, see, you brought Bill Paxton for that one, so it's like
Yeah.
keep it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk Titanic real quick. It's such a heartbreaking scene. Um, where did you kind of draw that emotion from? Like reading your a fairy tale to the two kids while
Well, I
life is
have the
ending, more or less.
yeah. Well, I at that point I had two children. So I had a son and then I guess a 9-year-old son, and I just adopted a baby. I almost in the film, I almost had a baby wrapped up in my arms because I
Okay.
was like, I depends on when, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to take him on the set. But
Right.
no, that's it's very funny. What I thought very much, what struck me about that scene was we had gone through the earthquake in Los Angeles,
Okay.
that massive one. And I remember grabbing my son, he was 5, standing under the doorway, because that's what they told you to do then. Now it's under a bed. But anyway, in a doorway, holding him. He's like asleep. And I remember just thinking I was going to die because it was the house was just bouncing up and down and wanting to scream. But really the thought that went through my mind, he's asleep. I don't want to wake him up because we're going to die. It's better that he stay asleep. I mean, that was my exact thought. The hardest part about that scene was not crying,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
and the story that I told was given to me by the Irish actors on set,
Okay.
because they had told me in the script, it said she puts them to sleep. That's all it said.
Yeah.
And Cameron said, so I said, is there something you want me to tell them a bedtime, sing them a lullaby? He's like, give me a couple, some things or whatever. I was like, okay, let me think about it. And the actors, the Irish actors came up to me, some of the musicians and said, you've got to tell this story. You've got to, it would mean so much to all of us and everything. And so they wrote it all out for me, and
Yeah.
it was really great. Yeah.
How are the two, like your two children, to work with during that scene? Do they kind of grasp the whole like emotion of it?
Well, the little boy said to me, we did, the scenes were in order when we shot them, coming down, and then the part where, why aren't we getting on the boats, or what does he say, Mommy, when are the first class passengers? So we did that one second, and then we did the putting to bed. And after we cut, he goes, cut, thank you, that's that's a wrap for Jenette and the kids. And he looks at me and he goes, what about the other scene? And I was like, what other scene? He goes,
Yeah.
the ones where we get on the boat.
Oh,
I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, I don't know, ask your mom.
right. Yeah.
I don't want to break his heart. So yes, no, he truly
Oh,
understood.
that's
Yeah.
so cute. Yeah. Yeah. I was almost waiting for you after you like told the story for you just to explode.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, that
exactly.
would yeah.
I,
Totally.
I always say that I kill a lot of people. I kill myself in Aliens.
Yeah.
Who do I kill? Kill my husband in Terminator. I kill my children in
And
Titanic.
yeah. Yeah. Cold-blooded killer. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are you able to like dive into a swimming pool anymore? That's another explosion with Lethal Weapon 2.
Right. That was not me, thank God. That was a stunt
Yeah.
woman.
Right.
Yep. That was very explosive. Yep.
Back to Aliens. Did you see any of the other sequels after that or no?
I saw no, I've seen the prequel one. Which one? The one with the scientist.
Oh, Covenant, I think.
Oh,
Alien Covenant.
yeah, not the first one that came out, the second one. It was the scientist who made the alien, and then there were also, like, I guess they were also Marines or something.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
I have not seen 3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah. Three was such a slap in the face to aliens.
I heard it was kind of depressing. I'm interested in seeing it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see that, and then 4 I didn't see, but I did see one of the prequel ones.
Right. Okay.
I forget
Oh,
which one.
yeah. Well, because you really had good chemistry with Bill Paxton. He was such a good actor.
Yeah,
And
we did
great.
go dark with each other after
Yeah, he did.
that.
Yeah, and Lance too. So it's gonna keep
Yeah,
that
and like, yeah.
in the family. Yeah. So Terminator, I had Xander on during the pandemic, and obviously we talked about your kill scene with him. What was that like to shoot, and like how many containers of milk did you go through?
That whole thing, I mean, you spoke with Xander. I did nothing. All I did was just put my arm behind my back and stand there. The poor guy had to like do a back bend and stick a knife down his
Right.
face. It was horrible for him. For me, it was just, I had a bunch of guys crouching behind me with, the fake arm and the thing. And so I had a good time.
Yeah, I mean he's probably right up there with you for a lot of movie kills. He doesn't really make it out of movies alive, so he's up there with you. Yeah.
Yes, I think he killed me. We were laughing about. I saw this. I'm sure you've seen this on YouTube. All of his deaths.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's such an amazing actor. It was funny. He killed me in this movie called Donato and Daughter.
Okay.
He killed me. Jenette Bras. He was raping and killing nuns in that one.
Oh God.
He said, but he was a businessman. He said, "I'd
That's right. He was wearing a suit. That's right. He
I wear
said
a
that to
suit
me.
in this
Yeah.
one. It's a step up."
Yeah. Yeah. No, he told me that during that interview. He's like, yeah, at least I'm wearing a suit finally. Yeah. So
No, I love that. We just sat around talking for hours and hours and hours in the trailers.
Yeah. Right. And he was already dead, but you got to work on a show that he was on, the 24. I know it was only a couple episodes working with Kiefer Sutherland.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And like I think, yeah, he interrogated Jack about his drug use. I think it was like season 3. So I heard, like, I spoke to a couple people who worked on that. That was a pretty intense set.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was Kiefer Sutherland worked like every scene. It was just like, every single thing. I really enjoyed it though. I really enjoyed the director and producer. It was really supportive.
Right. Now, one movie you didn't die in was Star Trek Generations. And I'm a big Trekkie. You had a small role in that one with the Enterprise with their first voyage. That had to be kept, like, I'm sure, very tight lips, right? What happened when you were.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know. I don't even remember. I was surprised when I saw the film. I'm trying to remember if I knew what had happened, if we got the end of the script, because I was surprised. I was like, a stairwell falls on him. That's how. So I was like, what? Yeah. But no, it was a trip being on the Enterprise. I mean, come on. It was like, science officer wearing the thing, doing the lean in, you lean in.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, there's Shatner, and I mean, it was really, I was geeking out the whole time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Were you able to talk to Bill at all?
Oh yeah, I said, hi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Were you a Star Trek fan growing up at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I loved watching it. Absolutely.
Right.
Every episode.
Yeah. So it must have been cool to have Chekhov and Scotty on there as well. So
yeah, no, I made sure to go over and talk to them, and yeah, it was we all were kind of starry-eyed. There was one that I remember, we were like, it was between shots and we were all in our spaces, and I was at my computer, and Alan Ruck was he's in the chair, and he goes, anybody want to come and sit on the chair, kind of, and everybody's like, I'm cool, I'm good. He goes, come on, I know everyone wants to sit in the chair. And we all went, yeah, that's right. And we ran in and we just pretended we spun around, and
right. I'm sure that I'm sure that was when Bill wasn't there, right?
No, he wasn't. No,
Yeah.
we got to just fool around.
Right. Sure, he's pretty protective of that chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noel, he was our visitor. This was
Right. It's true. Yeah.
Enterprise 2.
Yeah.
Enterprise 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to Terminator 2 for a sec. The death scene of the T-1000 was pretty interesting. It was, greatly shot in the lava, whatever it was at the end when he showed all the people he killed and
Right.
were in there. So what was that like to shoot? What did that entail?
Well, it was so the lava, so we were well, I guess in this, of course those disused factories where all films end, but there was a big, huge tank and it was filled with mineral oil, warm mineral oil, and boxes and boxes of powdered sugar.
Okay.
So that it could reflect, it wouldn't be, so you could see so you'd swim. I swam around in there. There was a guy, a safety guy in there in a suit, in a wetsuit, but then Cameron got in with me. He said, "I'm going to get in with you, so you don't feel so."
Right.
It was kind of, yeah. I was very moisturized. I could say that.
I bet. Yeah.
Say yes, even after many, many showers.
Did like James Cameron, did his like directorial style change from like say your first movie you worked with to
No,
Titanic and no, same?
no, I know that's the kind of people ask me that question. He was just as focused on, and also the attention to detail, talking to people, when something, he could do everybody's job, except for, act. That's the best thing. That's what Bill used to always say. Everyone's job except he couldn't act, though.
You
That
could
was
act. Right.
yeah, thank God. Yeah, no, it was really interesting,
Mm.
it's just sort of seeing him. I mean, I didn't work with him on the smaller films, but I can imagine just from talking to Gail on Hurd when she first met him, she tells this story how she's given a tour around the Corman offices. She's
Right.
working as an assistant, and she walks into the shop and she meets this guy who and he's showing her and telling her the thing and and the whole department. And she goes back and she said she met the department. I was talking with the department head, the production manager. They're like, who? The guy with the blonde hair. That's not the department head. It's the guy painting the.
Oh,
But he had just this knowledge and this
yeah.
kind of command of everything that she mistook him for the department head.
Wow. That's great. Now, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but back to Aliens. Vasquez's gun, she had some written on there.
And so what? Oh, on the gun you said?
Yeah. Like what did she have like
Oh,
written
on the gun. On
yeah,
the gun it said adios. On her
her
the armor
armor,
breastplate.
right?
Yeah, that said el riesgo siempre vive,
Okay.
and it's there's no like it's the risk always live. There's like no life without risk. That kind of thing. No one gets out of here alive. kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I found that in a book of poems by a Chicana poet named Cherry Moraga. I was doing research on just different parts of Chicana culture and things, and it was a line in a poem, and I thought, that's really cool. I really like that. It was like sprayed. All graffiti gang members had sprayed it on a wall. That's what she
Okay.
said in the poem.
Yeah.
So,
So
but yeah, we got to write different things on
yeah.
our on our lockers and on our armor, and that was great. That was
So
really
yeah. So Cameron gave you the freedom to do that, right? It wasn't like you write it.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
No. He gave everybody, to detail their space,
Yeah.
which is great.
Right. And the gun was attached to a Steadicam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stuck to a Steadicam arm.
Arm.
So instead
Okay.
of a camera on it, yeah, it was on it. So it took a lot of the weight, but
Okay.
not all of it. Let me tell you, but you had to you balance yourself to keep it
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did it take a while to get used to?
Yeah, it really did. It really did. I mean, stats. No, I could not be a Steadicam operator
Right.
myself, but I mean, if you talk to them, I mean, it's quite to learn how to do that. It's to
It is.
balance it, figure it out and work with it. And yeah, no, Mark and I, really kind of worked with it and had that kind of that move, and it was like it was good. It was good. You had to get one with the gun.
Yeah. Right. And I think it was like the Rocky was the first time that Steadicam was the movie was the Steadicam
Was
was
it? Yeah, it was in.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they weren't, yeah. It's a really interesting, and it's a hard profession. And I know a woman who is a Steadicam operator, and she always wears her bandana, and
Right.
she's
Yeah. Yeah. Did you take anything from the set from the movie?
I did not. I'm
No.
a good girl. You're not supposed to take anything.
Right.
Because if they got to do reshoots and things like that, you can't run
Yeah.
away with
Oh, okay.
props.
All right. Yeah.
I
Do
wish I
you,
had a double. I wish I had her dog tags or something like that.
yeah, right. Or the bandana or
Mm.
yeah. Do you have your figure? Your action
I
figure?
do. Yes. Well, I do have. Yes, I have all three versions. Of the
Okay.
toy they produce, which is really wonderful.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, because I had the little 3-inch one, the 3.5 inch one. So
Right, right. The
oh,
original.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I was really glad because I was bummed at the beginning when they didn't produce her, which
yeah,
was just like, what? So I was like, did you guys see the movie?
exactly. Yeah,
you know. So I was really excited when I finally got the call from who was it? NECA Toys
yeah,
that did it. Yeah.
right. And I felt like Sigourney Weaver got nominated, obviously, for an Oscar for that movie, which is fantastic. She probably should have won it that year. And the picture should have been nominated too, I feel, because it was
Mm.
just so good. Do you think if they had the like rules they have now with you can have up to 10 pictures that it would have got nominated?
I don't know. It's kind of unusual that you'd be not like, you're nominated for an action, a genre film is still sort of unusual now. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because now they kind of have like some superhero movie or whatever, sci-fi or action, but that
Right.
was,
Yeah.
it was intense, and the acting was phenomenal, and you were tremendous in it, and it lives, to this day, decades later.
That's
So
pretty amazing.
yeah, but Jenette, I really appreciate your time. This was fantastic. Best of luck, with the company, and nothing but the best.
Okay, nice talking with you.
And a special thanks to Jenette for joining me today. You can check out her website, JenetteBras.com. You can follow her on Twitter at Jenette Bras. She's also on Facebook. And if you have a guest suggestion to start out the next 6 years, hit me up on Twitter at TheFirstNoel19 or like the page Reliving My Youth on Facebook. You can go to iTunes, check out all the best episodes we've had. While you're there, please rate and review the show. Don't have iTunes? Not a problem. Show's on SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, basically where we can find a podcast. New episode comes out every week, let's say. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you then.